Hey everybody, it is Freekbass and welcome to BASSTalk with Freekbass. I'm here every Wednesday night live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States and over at the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Freekbass. Hello all you Facebook people. Over at Twitter, twitter.com/Freekbass, and over at the YouTube channel, youtube.com, the Freekbass channel. So if you're watching over YouTube and you're digging what you're seeing, if you can hit a thumbs up, that really helps get the way that gets the word out with the show. If you're able to subscribe, that's even better. Over at Facebook, same thing. If you hit your share button in your feed, gets this out to a lot of people. And at Twitter, you know the magic over there. Hit the old retweet. That really helps out a lot too as well. So I am here every Wednesday, as I mentioned, and we cover everything bass, whether it be techniques or theory things or different basses review or different pedal review. We got some pedal reviews coming up very shortly on the show. Excuse me. And but yeah, so that's what we're here to talk about. And this week, I think it was last week or it was maybe 2 weeks ago, I was did a deep dive on hammer-ons and how to incorporate hammer-ons into your slap bass playing. Well, today we're going to do almost the opposite of that. And while there's the hammer-ons where you're coming up on the note, we're going to talk about pull-offs where you're actually coming away from the note. So we're like a hammer-on, say if we're going from C to D on the G string and you're like plucking it, that way the pull-off is the opposite. So it's like basically creating two notes with one strike of your right hand, whether you're doing like plucking it, you're doing it finger style, or doing it thumb style. All right, so you heard me playing a song as we came in, and so what I always try to do here is give a playing example, something that you could try yourself. Know what and this will cover a lot of levels. You could, if you're more of a beginner, you could just start with just the first part of the lick. If you've been playing for a little bit longer, you've been playing for a long time, try to play through the whole lick. So here's the lick one more time, and then I'll do it without drums. I'll just do a short version of it because you heard it as we started the show tonight. What I'm doing here by itself, you've got now you could do it finger style too, which I'll do right now. Let me put this mic out of the way. So there's different ways you can do pull-offs. There's a couple little hammer-ons incorporated in there too as well. I'll explain that, but 90% of this bass line is all pull-offs. So let me start with this bass line. We'll talk about the technique a little bit. Here's the actual bass line I'm playing. It's all in D, D minor. So if you do it thumb style, and we'll start there, then I'll go do finger style. If you do thumb style, I'm thumping the 5th fret on the A string, which is a D, and then I'm plucking C and then pulling off, excuse me, I'm plucking D, excuse me, the octave, and then pulling off to the C. Now, you see what I do is I already have my index finger set up there for that C. Like, it's not like I'm going, not like I'm flipping fingers as I go. I already have that already locked in. So when I do the pull off, that finger is already there, and that's the best way to start. If you're just a beginner, that's what I would suggest doing, is just, go to the 7th and 5th fret, and if you want to pluck it or you want to do it finger style, and you just leave your index finger locked on that fret, and then you're going to hit the 1 fret, and then you're going to pull away. Now, when you're pulling away, you're not pulling straight up in the air. You're not, I mean, you get a little bit of the sound that way, but to me, it's better if you almost like you're flipping it towards the floor, almost like you're flicking like a flea off your bass neck. It's that kind of action. Then I just go down to the D string and I do the same thing on the 7 to 5. And you see, after I do the pull off, I'm plucking the 5 again, and then I'm going to do it from 5 to 3. Now that one's the opposite. I'm doing a hammer-on, which is 3 to 5. So, I mean, hammer-ons are essentially the same thing. They're just the opposite version. As opposed to starting from your pinky to your index, you're going from your index to your pinky or your 3rd finger, whichever finger you choose to use. And then when I'm coming back to that 5th fret, which is kind of interesting too, I'm actually making that a hammer-on. I'm just hammering down. Look, no hand at all. Finger style or thumping style. Like that. And then I'm hammering 3 to 5 on the E, 3 to the F on the D. I'm going to do it really, really slow here. So you're kind of doing 2 hammers at the end, which is 3 to 5 on the A to the 3 on the D, which is an F, then 3 to 5 on the E hammer, plucking the F again, and then coming down just with your hand. And one thing I do, a lot of times when I come down on notes like that, where I'm just hitting the note, I'll almost kind of blend these fingers together, like they're almost like one big thick finger, so it has a little more weight to it. As opposed to just, I mean, I could do it that way, but for me, it's got a little more strength and oomph if you do it that way. So again. And again, you can do it finger style too. I'll do it finger style now. Really, really slow now. Like that too as well. And it's such a cool technique because, I talk a lot on here, singers and horn players and, saxophone, trumpet, whatever, they have, their breath. A horn player, you can tighten your lips, make them tighter, looser. Singers, you can sing louder, you can sing softer. So much, or 90% of what we do to make our stuff more musical is what we do with our hands. And so little things you can do, like hammer-ons and pull-offs, and and coming down on the notes like I'm talking about. That all those things will give your bass lines just more personality and make them sound more musical. It's not just the notes, it's more the there's it's all the techniques, which kind of, again, just like a singing technique, you do certain things when you sing a certain way. If you do your hands a certain way, it's going to make what you do sound, give more of a musical kind of sound. All right. So that's the gist of it. Again, if you're a beginner bass player, what I would do, I would just sit there on one note. I would just go from the 7 to the 5 on the G. Now, if you're getting into slapping and plucking, bass, just pull that note. If you just want to do it finger style, do it finger style. So let's try that again with the groove one more time, just to see if we've got it all dialed in, and see what happens. Here we go. That is it. Those are pull-offs. Use them in, I'm doing kind of a little funky groove here, but they work in any style of music, from country, a lot of country stuff, a lot of bluegrass stuff it works really well in. More heavier, metal type stuff too as well. Tons of pull-offs and that stuff, especially when you're doing like our little arpeggiated runs and stuff like that. It's a great technique to incorporate. But just like the hammer-ons, I'll leave today's like with this, just like the hammer-ons, you don't want the listener or the other musicians necessarily to know you're doing a hammer-on or pull-off. Yeah, there's a sound to it, but the main thing I'm saying is you want the note to penetrate. You want everybody to be able to hear both notes, not just the first note you start with, not just like in this case the D. You want them to hear the D and the C almost equally, or whatever note you're pulling off to. So that's it. So I hope you dig that. Thanks again for everybody for being here every week. I'm here every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Don't forget, on Thursday nights, twitch.tv/Freekbass. Come join me. Got all these little fun toys around me. We make grooves live on air. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern time, twitch.tv/Freekbass. That's Thursday nights at 9 p.m., Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern time. I'd love to see you there. We have we've got amazing family and community growing over there. We're just getting started, but it's a really cool place. Saturday night, Chit Chat, obviously 9 p.m. on Facebook, Eastern time on Saturday nights, and of course every Wednesday night right here for all your bass needs. So thank you so much. Everybody have an